Okay, so we've finished with the batching for doing the whole pre-processing step in the previous tutorial, moving from the realignment to the slice time to the co-registration, and then also including the segmentation. At this point, we want to move on to create the Dartel study specific template, which we will talk about conceptually what that means, what it's used for, and why we have to do it. We go through the concepts about it in class. So here again, I'm just going to show you how to do it in SPM. Now, if we want to do this step, we just have to make sure that we have gone ahead to process all our subjects in the entire study to the point of segmentation. So that's why we went through the batching script before coming to this Dartel study-specific template step, all right? Because in order for us to carry on, we have to have had all our subjects' data processed up to the point of segmentation. So just to illustrate very quickly, what that means is that you would have to, in my example, I use 6 subjects of the entire sample data set. You obviously have a lot more, so you're going to have to take a lot longer than me. But because I'm just doing this for a demo, I'm just using these 6 subjects from the source DICOM, right? And what I've done is I had used MRI cron DCM to Nifty to convert all these DICOM images to the Nifty images. Then I copied the the created Nifty images to the raw Nifty folder, just like for how we did Y01. Instead, I've done it for Y02, Y03, 001, 002, 003. And then I created, I'm just going to open the Y02 folder for illustration. And then I generated, in the batching tutorial, I generated the Y02 batch preprocessing one batch file. So so that if you open this, and then you set up the initial files, you tell SPM where the EPI for Y02 subject Y02 are, the T2 and the T1 where they're located, and you set that up right, then you can just hit play and it will pre-process all these for you up to the point of the segmentation. And the key output that we want before we go into the Dartel SST study-specific template step is that we need these RC1, C2, C3 Nifty files for every subject, right? So if you've done the segmentation, batching, and everything correctly, you should have, as I have done, the RC1 to 6 for all subjects. So I've got it for Y01, Y02, and 001, and all the way to 003 here. So if you have all this for all your subjects, the RC1 images for all your subjects, then you're, in addition obviously to your pre-processed data, then we're good to move on to the next step, which is to create the SST. So how do we do that? It's really very simple. Just go to the menu, SPM menu window, click batch. The batch window, the editor will appear, and in here you want to go to SPM, tools, Dartel tools, very simply run Dartel create templates. And if you click that, the module for creating the template will appear. I'm just going to expand that so we can see. And what this will do is to do the Dartel step that we talked about, which is the deformation, to create the average anatomical template with respect to your study. No, this is not in a standard MNI template. This is a study-specific template. So the template that is created from this step will be the mean image representing the subjects in your data set. So since we are using Y01, to 003, so 3 young and 3 old, the resulting template image that will be created in this step will be the average of these 6 subjects. All right, and this will help to avoid biases that have to do with the young and old neurobiological differences, as we talked about in class. So how do we do this? It's very simple. Really, all we need to do is specify the images that we want to use to create the template. This will be based on the segmented outputs, the RC1 to 6 images. There will be, and the way to enter this is to have a new image type. Again, you can read the file help at the bottom, but essentially we want to tell SPM that we have 6 segmented image types. So the first image type would be for the C1, and we'll enter that later. Then there's the C2, C3, 4, 5, and 6. So you want to click New Images 6 times so you can get 6 of these image types. And in the first one, you want to use the subject Y01's RC1 image. You want to use subject 1's RC1 image, and then carry on to click RC1 image for subject 2. So I've done that here, and I've got RC1 for subject 2, RC1 for subject 3, and 001, 002, and 003. So what you have here then is 6 RC1 images for Y01, Y02, Y03, and the corresponding older adults. And when you're done, click Done here, you would have selected 6 files for the first image type, which would be the gray matter, which would be referring to the gray matter, that's the RC1 image. Okay, and then obviously for the next one we're going to do RC2. So same thing, going to go to the subject Y01. Now we're going to click RC2. Same thing for all the others. Get a little tedious at this point, so be careful. Check that you've got RC2, Y01 to Y03, RC2, 001 to 003. It is important that the order of the subjects and images here, so Y01, 2, 3, 001, 2, 3, this has to be the same order across all the image types. So here in the first C1 case, we have subjects Y01, 2, 3, 001, 2, 3. We have to also have the RC2 images in the same order, Y01, 2, 3, 001, 2, 3, and the same thing applies for the C3 images. You have to have subject 1 first, subject 2, subject 3, and then 001, 002, and 003. And then you check. You have 1, 2, 3. Oops, I don't have 003 here, so I'm going to add 003 for the RC3 image right here. Okay, so I should have 6 files, and I do now. All right, and I'm just gonna preload the, and you have to do the same thing for the RC4, RC5, and RC6 images. And I will just go ahead and preload this because I've done it before. It's too tedious to click all the way through again since I've already done it. And what I usually like to do is to create an SST folder, a separate folder for this SST step. So what I do is usually in the subjects folder, so the subjects folder is for each individual subject, but when working at a group level, I like to create an SST folder. This is not subjects anymore, but the whole group, for the whole group, all right? And in here, I'm going to load, I'm going to save, I'm going to put in the job that I created before. Okay, I'm going to copy this over. So I'm going to put this create Dartel template job that I did before. So as not to confuse you, it doesn't matter. You're not going to have this yet. I'm just using this because I've done it before. So I've created an SST folder, and I have previously created this Dartel Create template.mat. And what it is basically all my image types, the RC files, all preloaded. So just to go through with you, this is RC1, subjects 1 to 3, 003, RC2, RC3, 4, 5, and 6. So all this is done, and there's nothing else you need to change for the rest of the settings. All right. What these are just different levels of smoothing, and which is what Dartel needs to make a study-specific template more and more precise. So if you set all this up, you can go ahead and save this. I've already done it, and you can save it as this Dartel Create template. Give it this file name, and you can click Save, and so it will load it. All right, it will save it, and you can load it again the next time. But I've already done it, so I'm not going to save it over it again. But after you save it, you can go ahead and click Play, and it will start the process. And after running for I want to say maybe 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, you will see the output of the template 01, 2, 3, and 6. These files, template 01, template 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These files, they will not be located in the SST folder at the outset. They will actually be located in the Y01 folder, I believe. So it will first appear here in the Y01 folder. All right, all this template images will be here, and you just need to drag it over to the SST folder. All right, that's just because SPM will just create the output templates in the folder of the first subject. It doesn't really matter. It's not really so important. All you need to do for organization's purposes is to move it to the SST folder, and that's what I've done. So just to show you the end, you should have all the template and the batch file in the SST folder like this. So once you have that, you've created the SST. Now, but where is the SST? Well, the SST really is this template 6 image. All right, just to show you, we're going to use display, and I'm just going to go to the SST and open template 6 image just to show you what it looks like. It's really just a gray matter C1 image, and you think, and this is the average of all 6 subjects that I entered. Now it looks pretty nice and symmetric and pretty standardized to you, but note, this is not in MNI space yet. This is just the mean in the mean space or the mean configuration of your subjects. To prove that, I'll show you. If you open CheckReg and you select the SST image that you have, which is template 6, and you compare that at the same time with the TPM, which we know is in an MNI space, right? And if you open it and you click through, you'll find that it's not really matched. It's not exactly matched, right? You can see that there's not a whole lot out in front here, where there's a whole lot in the bottom, which is the MNI image. Most obviously, if you click, usually you click the top, you can see clearly that there's quite a lot more brain here at the top, and here it's already at its end. All right, so this is the SST, which is the average of the 6 subjects we have, or the average of how many ever subjects you have in your setup. And this is the TPM. So we're not yet at MNI space, we're just in the SST space. And in the next step, we'll show you how to move from here to get all your subjects EPI then to the SST, and then from the SST to the MNI space.